It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
As technology gets faster, louder and more automated, some people across generations are taking a step back, not from advancement but from the noise. They're taking pictures on film, writing on typewriters, listening to music on formats that don't disappear when the screen turns off, and driving cars with interiors that don't look like a Windows Media Player skin.
Why does everything have to be a screen? Why is there a rope here? Why?
This isn't because it's better technology, but because it feels tangible. Older generations return for the familiarity, while the younger ones reach for it because so little of their lives feel real enough to hold. While everything is instant, optimized and so frictionless, we start yearning for more deliberate things. Things that stay, things that hold up, and things that feel personal. But what defines the personal feeling that is missing from modern tech? Well, that's exactly what we'll try understanding in this video, and maybe by the end you'll end up missing your old Nokia as well. The marketing campaign for the Walkman showcased young people riding bikes and skateboards while listening to music, representing the freedom it brought to its users. The ability to do something while listening to music made those experiences more pleasurable. It provided its listeners a personal soundtrack for their lives, making even the most mundane of tasks feel interesting. Before the Walkman, listening to music wasn't a personal thing but a community-based one. Having a personal stereo changed the way its user perceived the world, allowing greater control over one's experiences in the world. The environment didn't change, the noise didn't disappear, but the experience of the listener did. No optimization, no personalized algorithm, just autonomy. It was us who had the choice of how the world felt to us, and this reflected in the tech of that time as well. Film cameras with its limited shots made the user mindful of what they capture. No instant viewing, no editing, it just captured an actual moment in time instead of a carefully curated one. Making a mixtape required time and commitment, no skipping to the next song, no rearranging tracks. Once you're done, that was it. That limitation forced intention. So when someone made a mixtape for you, it meant more than just songs on a cassette. Tech like this, defined by the term the Walkman effect, created a personal boundary that we've quietly forgotten. Tech that didn't make people less present but instead made them calmer and more aware. Which is why stepping back isn't about disengaging but about creating a healthy distance and living in the present without being overwhelmed. Let's take an example of our car. We exactly know where the volume knob is, where the AC controls are. We don't even need to take a look. We can confidently change it while driving on the road. Most of how we interact with technology isn't always a decision. It's a reflex. Tapping, swiping, confirming, dismissing. Over a period of time, an interface stops being something we read and becomes something we execute. Our brains stop thinking about it and actions move out from conscious thought to muscle memory. We get faster, we make less mistakes and eventually don't even notice while doing it. This efficiency is what a good design is, but our speed doesn't come from understanding it, it comes from habit. And the thing about habits is that they are fragile. Move a button and it changes the order of actions. Suddenly everything slows down. We hesitate, we make mistakes we never did, not because the interface is hard, but because the habit is broken. This is why when companies redesign app interfaces just to freshen up things, people get frustrated. If you're Indian, you've probably faced this with Myntra. I can't even find myself some socks anymore. Similarly, when devs introduce a new map, they get backlash from players.
No! No! No!
Not necessarily because the new map sucks, but because it's unfamiliar. It means that you'll need to find that spot where you can camp for the whole game all over again. This is where modern tech feels frustrating. It's so easy for companies to change interfaces frequently with updates that nothing feels permanent anymore. Everything is just an update away from feeling like we're operating an alien spaceship. But jokes apart, when we look closer, there is something very unsettling about this. Because if habits can make us calm and confident, it can also make us angry and mindless. If interfaces can train reflexes, it can also exploit them. And that gives leverage to the companies. They can break habits to force attention, and this is where they can influence. And when habits eventually reform, actions become fast, unconscious, and predictable. And these predictable actions are further exploited for their own profits. This is how modern technology integrates our habits into the system, and once we're in, they start talking back. A lot of people try to get into a healthy lifestyle at the beginning of the year, and the first thing they usually do is get a smartwatch.
Bruh.
At first, it does feel very helpful. You walk more, you sleep better, you drink water because the watch reminds you, it motivates you, you try staying consistent because closing the loops on the watch at the end of the day feels satisfying. But after a while, things change. The goal shifts from walking more to reaching the number. Consistency becomes not breaking the streak, and the reward changes from fitness to notifications of completing the task. People don't notice this shift initially because it usually is very subtle. Feedback at first feels like guidance, but this constant guidance comes at a cost. When everything is tracked and compared, we become more anxious and we start doubting our own instincts. Am I actually tired, or is it because the app says so? I think I slept well, but the app is giving me just 5 out of 10. The lower score automatically makes you anxious and hinders your sleep the next night, and because of that, the score is even lesser the next day, and the loop continues. The same thing happens with social media. Number of likes define our mood. We post for maximum likes and expressions turn into optimization. Stories disappear, silence feels like absence. We post again and again, not necessarily because we want to, but to maintain our presence. Autoplay starts the next video not because we chose, but because we didn't stop. The loop removes intention. This is where modern tech stopped waiting for us to act and started responding first. This feedback loop observes what we do and respond in an instant and quietly pushes us towards our next action, and this creates pressure and expectation. At some point, technology stopped us from taking our own decisions and started taking decisions for us. The refuge people are seeking in older tech in this modern world isn't about rejecting the cutting edge, it's actually a response to how modern tech feels. We humans vary wildly from person to person. Some want control, some seek reassurance, some prefer novelty while others want simplicity, which is why Apple can sell a sock for more than $200 and people still buy it. But modern systems treat users as interchangeable. They don't respond to who we are, but to what we do. We are just data to these systems. Digital systems move faster, they update constantly and optimize relentlessly. Because of this, nothing ever feels settled. Libraries refresh, interfaces change, devices reset, and memories vanish. There's no aging, no wear and tear, no sense of time passing. Everything is always new and also somehow feels meaningless. Old stuff behaves differently. It resists, it creates friction, and it asks for our attention. A stereo doesn't play according to your mood. A typewriter doesn't autocorrect. A paper map doesn't tell you to dive off a bridge. This friction creates attachment. This repetition creates familiarity, and the wear and tear denotes passing of time, which creates meaning. People gravitate towards this not because it's better, but because it stays. Digital experiences evaporate when we stop engaging. Analog tech leaves residue. Modern tech is optimized for convenience, but humans form bonds through participation and experience. And sometimes experience feels more important than convenience. You probably have seen the phrase offline is the new luxury being thrown around online lately. This is actually quite similar to the fact of people moving towards older stuff, but in a more depressing way. It's actually a warning because luxury here isn't about taste but choice. Gig workers can't go offline, creators can't disappear, service workers don't get quiet. Connectivity went from convenience to survival. Silence costs money, attention costs time, and choosing not to be reachable is something only the financially stable can afford. Hence the term luxury. And in a society where reading a book lying on the grass without having to worry about any notification is now considered a luxury only a few can afford, we can be sure somewhere along the way we messed up pretty bad. And in a world that constantly wants your attention, things that give us our present back might be the most personal thing left. So what do you think about this video? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if this made you miss something that you owned in the past. Subscribe for more videos like this. See you in the next one.